Hi, this is Laura Live, and today we're going to talk about people who are minimally verbal or are nonverbal. Now, many times with autism or Down syndrome or many of the other language issues, we have people who understand a lot more than they can say. And this is true even with very, very young children. So if you have a child who is just brand new to language, so a younger child and they don't have a lot of receptive language at all, or they don't have any, which means that they don't understand what you're saying. So this is a 2, 3, maybe even 4-year-olds, sometimes 5-year-olds with autism who don't understand any language. You're just going to take the new GemIIni assessment and just follow the instructions and you'll be good to go. But if you have a student who understands a lot more than they can say, then you're going to want to follow a little bit different rule. And the assessment sometimes will lead you kind of in the wrong direction this way. We just want to make sure people are aware of that because we're getting a lot of questions and comments on Facebook, and we want to make it sure it's very clear, because if you follow these directions, you will get stellar results, off the charts. If you don't, you won't. So it's really important if you have a minimally or low verbal child who does already understand things. So what you want to do is when you take the assessment, on the new GemIIni, now some people are saying, I've been using GemIIni for years, what the heck is this assessment thing? You're using the old GemIIni still. You've got to get out of your pre-made settings, like the history on your computer and your apps on your computer, and just type in GemIIni.org all over again and log into the new GemIIni. We see that maybe still a quarter of our members are still using the old GemIIni. So you go into the new GemIIni, the first thing that comes up, it says take an assessment, and then you're going to click on the button and you're just going to start answering the questions. There are multiple choice questions. If you have a student who is minimally or low verbal but has receptive language already, you want to first take the assessment for what he understands. So don't just think about it. Every time they ask you a question, think about what does my student understand and what you think they understand. I know a lot of us parents and educators are not quite sure sometimes what our students understand, how much they understand. So you're going to want to just kind of take your best guess. And you will be given a level of the language pyramid with pre-made video sessions in there that you can choose from all of them, and that's where you're going to go for his receptive language. Now you're going to make a completely different video using our session builder for his expressive or her expressive language. So what is receptive is how much you understand, expressive is how much you can say. Now, what we're trying to avoid here is that many people who can understand a lot more than they can say are stuck in therapy just working on their expressive language, and they never really get to learn or push or challenge themselves on what they can understand. Their knowledge isn't growing, and they get very bored. And we have people, we find out later in life when they're teenagers or even young adults, that these people are brilliant, they're geniuses, and they were stuck saying cat, cat in therapy their whole lives because they couldn't get the sounds out. And so obviously they're tuned out, and people just think that they weren't paying attention, or they didn't have the cognition to be able to understand. They understood everything, they understood it years ago. So we want to avoid that. And with GemIIni is the only tool that you can avoid that with. So you're going to then, as a parent, you've got now your receptive video that you're going to play that you just got very easily from taking that little test. And that video you're going to play twice a day for about 15 or 20 minutes each time. If you can only have one time a day to play it, and you play it for 30 minutes, that's fine too. You just want the people to see it 4 to 6 times looping through. At least. They can see it more. It's not going to hurt them. GemIIni is the one type of video, because the way it's edited, that it doesn't make you zone out into your default network. So it doesn't cause backtracking. It doesn't cause kids to go off into their own world. It won't cause stimming. They can just watch it as much as they need to. Now then what you're going to do as a parent is you're going to log in and you're going to click on videos at the top of the screen, and then at the bottom of the screen there's a great big box that says GemIIni Library. Click on the library button. And then you're going to see a little orange box that says Complete GemIIni Library. Click on that. And then you're going to have the whole GemIIni library in front of you there. There are, over 100,000 videos in that library. So what you're going to want to say to yourself, okay, we've got my kid's receptive language goals all taken care of by that little assessment we took. We're ready to go. Now we're thinking about his expressive goals. If I have a student who has no expressive language, what do I want him to say at first? Well, yes and no would be really good. Mom and dad, you want to pick 4 words that are either highly motivating or very useful. So I would pick at least 2 very useful, yes and no are a good one, and then 1 highly motivating, something that he or she really, really likes. I keep on saying potato chips because I remember this one kid's first word was potato chips. It was like a hard word to say, but he loved potato chips so much he actually said it. And he continued to say it, and that was kind of the gateway to open other things. I have a very well-known SLP. She's one of the most well-known SLPs in the world. And she told me this story once that she had a student who was obsessed with blenders. Nonverbal, no language, but lots of receptive language, but loved blenders. So she went to Target or Walmart or somewhere, and she made her own little videos of every different kind of blender they had. Hamilton and KitchenAid and all the different kinds of blenders. And he actually, his first words were all these blender brands, very first words. So it doesn't have to be functional if we're just getting the motivation, the practice to get the words out. So think about something your student really, really loves, a favorite food, a favorite TV show, a favorite something, and make one of those words for that. And then, so you got 4 words. Just pick out 4 words. And then you're going to think about, so okay, we'll start there. What you want to do is you're going to go top to the search bar and type in one of those words in the search bar. Then right next to it, you'll see a little drop down and it says contains. You want to drop down until it says starts with. Because if I put the word in yes in the search bar and I put contains, I'll probably get 20,000 words with have lots of sentences that have the word yes in it, where you're talking about higher up in the pyramid, and we're doing dialogue. So we don't want just the word yes anywhere. We just want it just the word yes alone. So you're going to click up there and you're going to put yes in, put starts with. Now we're going to think, now does my student know what the word yes means? He just can't say it? If that's true, we don't need the generalization for yes. We're not going to teach him what yes means. We just need that close-up of the mouth and the mid-shot saying it over and over again to get those neural pathways going. So if they don't know what the word yes means, if they do know what the word yes means, you're going to go down on the left-hand side, down where it says clip type. And you're going to click on mid-shot and close-up. And don't have generalization or full there in the clip type. And there, if you want to know what a clip type is, there's a little question mark. You can click on it and tell you what it means, but I'll tell you right now. The close-up is just the close-up all by itself. Mid-shot is when you get the full mid-shot of the actor with the little picture of the word next to it. Generalization is the thing that happens in the middle. So if we're explaining what the word yes is, we'll have 2 people walking together, say, do you want this? He says yes, and he gets it. If you're understanding what the word, let's say, cat means, you'll have lots of pictures of cat in the generalization. If you want to know how the word cat is spelled, the generalization will be C-A-T. So it kind of depends on what we're teaching. The generalization changes. But the mid-shot and the close-up stays the same. And then the full clip type are all those videos all put together, mid-shot, close-up, and generalization into one video. If we have a student who already knows what yes and no means, then we just need the close-up and the mid-shot. So we're just going to click on those. And you'll see when you have yes starts with, close-up, and mid-shot, you'll only get about 5 videos that show up. All of them just the word yes and the close-up and the mid-shot. If you want to be absolutely sure you're getting what you want, you can preview it and make sure it's just a close-up saying yes, and the mid-shot saying yes, and then you just add that to your session. And then you do the same thing with the other 3 words that you've chosen. No, mom, potato chip, whatever, those 3 things. So now at the bottom of your screen, you've got a video session that's been being built with only 4 words in it. And it's probably only going to be a minute long. It's not very long. Now, this is going to be really boring because this person is going to watch this one a lot until they say those words. So what we want to do is we want to make it a little exciting. So you're going to click on, first you're going to clear all up at the top. So you're going to clear all your search. And then you're going to click on humor and motivational. Then you're going to click on general humor or humor and then general humor. There's lots of different humor clips in there. Some kids love the Little Luke videos. If you're older, they like the animal videos. There's lots of different humor videos in there. What you want to be careful of, don't click on high interest stories. High interest stories are really long. They're about 4 minutes long, and it's too long for this video. We just want the 10-second little quick little funny little videos. So general humor, kind of look around in there, the humor ones that you think your child would like or your student would like, and choose 4 of those. And now we're going to go back and clear search, and now we want to get to the X-ray videos, the X-rays that shows the inside of the mouth, because that really helps the viewer's brain latch on to the important bits of what you're trying to teach them. So we're going to go back up to the search bar. This is the easiest way to do it. This is the way I do it. And just type in X-ray. And make sure you put the hyphen in. X-RAY. And click on search. Put contains. Click on search. And you'll see on the side where all of the content is, it will sort of light up where the X-rays are. And then you can look and find X-ray sounds that are in those words you chose. You want to find the, if it's mom, you're going to find the M sound in the X-ray. Just look and see, get 2 or 3 X-ray sounds that are in the words that you chose. Now we're just in the process of putting all new X-rays up. These took us over 1.5 years just to get permission to be able to do them because of the radiation and IRB and everything. It's a huge process to be able to bring you these X-ray videos to make them safe for the actor who's doing them. And we got it done, and they're in editing. So, but we have a bunch up right now, but we're in the process of. So if you don't find one exactly the sound you're looking for, it's coming. It'll be here like in a few weeks. So what you want to go do now is go to the bottom of the page now where you have this video session that you have built, and you want to drag those funny videos up and intersperse them. So one at the top, so it starts with a funny one, and then like 1/4 of the way down and all the way through. And then you want to take those X-ray sounds and put them right before the close-up of the word that you chose. So first you're going to see the X-ray sound, and then you're going to see the word. This video, when you're all done, will probably be 1.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes tops. And you're going to show this one for 15 minutes a day. So you've got now 2 different sessions. You've got the assessment tool that you first logged on, the really easy one, boom, 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 boom. It's all created your receptive videos. And now you've got one that you created yourself. You're going to give it a title. Usually title it whatever the 4 therapeutic videos are called. So mom, dad, yes, no, whatever. Put that title up. And then at the bottom, you're going to click on save and assign. Click on the bottom, save and assign. Then it'll let you assign it to your student. If you're a parent and you only have 1 student, this is going to seem like a stupid exercise. Why am I saving and assign? I have to click on the student. Obviously, I've got 1 kid. But GemIIni is also used by teachers, and sometimes they have 30 kids. I have something like 350 students in mine. So I have to hunt and find the student I want to assign it to. So you're going to save and assign. If you are a teacher, you can create groups of your students. So if, let's say, you've got 1 group that's all working on the same goal, you can just create a group for them, and you just have to click on one that it assigns it to the whole group. And then now that video session that you created is going to be in your student's assignments. So he's going to have all of those language pyramid receptive videos and 1 expressive one as well. So you're going to watch, now we've got 3 different viewing times set up. We've got 1 viewing time where the student is going to watch that expressive video for 15 minutes. And as I said, this one is going to be a little bit challenging because he's going to be watching it a lot. Once he says one of those words, you can edit that and take out the video he says, and you can add a different one. What many parents like to do, so what happens is when you create a video yourself in our session builder, it duplicates. So it gets assigned to the student, and it also goes up into your parent or your teacher or therapist account. If, let's say, your student says now one of the words, yay! Well, you want to give them a new word in the expressive video. So you can go back to your parent or teacher account, and you can duplicate that session. So you clone it. And then you edit the one that you want to change. You take out the 1 word and put in another one, and you assign it again. Then what you can do then is you can archive the older session in the student's account and keep it for later. And it's good to archive it, because then if you ever want to go back to it in the future, you can. Or if you're thinking, you know what, I already have it in my parent account, I don't need to keep it in my student account, you can, from the archive, you can actually just delete it and get rid of it if you want to. For teachers, we like to make sure that teachers are keeping all of their videos, because as a teacher or a therapist, I'm going to use the same video session every year for this specific group of kids, and then I don't have to go through the whole exercise of making a new one. I made it last year. It's there forever now. It takes me a minute and a half, and it takes me, 15 seconds to assign a whole group of students. I can, in 15 seconds, give 65 children enough therapy to last them for 3 months on their expressive goals. It's pretty phenomenal the way technology is. Woohoo, I love it. So now, though, so let's talk about from the kid's point of view. He's watching this session, this video session, with these 4 words. He gets one of them right. Now he gets a new one. But you want to make sure that you're changing out those funny videos at least once a week. We want to give him something new to see every week. If you're really on top of things and you've got a kid who's, let's say, spends a lot of time in the car, or you just happen to be able to watch that expressive video session for an hour a day instead of 15 minutes a day, just because they actually kind of like it, or because you just happen to be driving on a trip, you may want to change out those funny videos every day even. So it just kind of depends. If the kid looks like he's out of his mind bored, you want to change them out. If he's only watching it 15 minutes a day, then changing out once a week is probably going to be fine. Now that receptive session, he's watching the video session, he's watching at 2 different times, and for about, like I said, 15, 20 minutes each. So he's seeing 4 to 6 times through every day. Once he's seen it 42 times, you're going to test him receptively on it. And now if he's got low, minimally or low verbal, don't expect him to be able to say it. We're still working with that other expressive level, that expressive video session, just to get out those 4 highly motivating words. So just test him receptively. If he gets even a couple right receptively, move on. In fact, if he doesn't get any right receptively, I would still move on for at least 4 weeks. The reason why, sometimes students don't test well. They're learning everything, but it has more about their physical dyspraxia, like they can't get their finger to point. And so if you have a child who has global delay, lots of people who are more severe on the spectrum have issues with just negotiating their fingers. In fact, Ido in Autism Land talks about how his ABA when he was younger was so frustrating, because he said that they're testing me and measuring me how well I can use my finger to measure my receptive language. I understand everything they're saying. I can't point to it. Doesn't mean I don't know it. And so we have to think about that. So you want to watch people's eyes. If you have a student who looks like they're kind of looking around, they're not paying attention, and you can't really tell whether they learned it receptively or not, what you can do is print out the flashcards rather than using a little screen where you'd have to point on little icons. And just get 2 flashcards, put one on one end of the table and one on the other one of the table, so he can literally move from one side of the table. And you can say, okay, Stevie, show me, or point to, or whatever you want to say, bird. And if he looks at the bird, or if he walks over to the bird, you know he's got it. And if he gets it right for 3 or 4 of these, he probably knows all of them. And he's not testing well. So you really try to get to the bottom of it. How much is my student understanding? Once you've tried just a new video session every week for 4 weeks in a row, if they still, even with pointing out the flashcards, if you still do not believe you're getting any receptive language, schedule a call with us. There's lots of tricks we need to do, but we need to ask you a whole bunch of questions to get to the bottom of it. Let me tell you, that is very, very rare. When the people that I talked to before, let's say they've canceled GemIIni, and they say we didn't get it, he didn't learn from it. And I say, well, first the thing I ask is, did you test receptively? 95% of the time the people say, no, we did not. So there's your answer right there. Gemini is just wonderful for receptive language, for teaching people to understand, for teaching reading. You're going to get we're going to get these people, even if they're nonverbal, to have high communication skills because of Gemini. But if you don't test receptively, you're not going to know. The 5% who did test receptively did not do what I just told you to do by putting the cards on either side of the table. So we're still limited by the person's fine motor skills. So so far, I think I've talked to one person. Okay, there is a small group of people who have severe epilepsy, and Gemini, nothing they've ever learned has been able to stick, because when they have a seizure, it seems like to wipe out their brain, and it's very frustrating. My heart goes out for those people. There have been one or two parents who I've talked to in the past said that they did try the receptive flashcards, and the students still didn't make any gains. And this is over thousands or tens of thousands of people who've tried it. There's been so few, I mean, I can think of maybe 2. So it's really, really rare that a student doesn't make receptive gains with Gemini. Really rare. And so if it's happening, we need to talk. We really need to talk. So that's Lorelei for today. If you were frustrated or confused, and let's say you went through the whole the assessment, and you got on a level that didn't make sense to you, it's probably because your child has very low expressive language, but high receptive. And so you're kind of taking assessment for 2 different things. If the assessment didn't make sense, if it's not the level where you think your student should be, schedule a call with us. If you don't understand what I just said about how creating your own session with the video session with the yes and the no, schedule a call with us. We will walk you through the whole thing. It's very simple. Once you get it, it's a snap. All right. Any questions you have, go ahead. Oh, you know what? Let me answer some questions. Just share your video. Let me know how you appreciate it. Okay, I will. Will this be posted as we can watch again? I love this. Yes, it will be posted. Such great examples. Thank you. My account won't log into new Gemini. It's okay, Danielle. It's probably because your cookies are stuck on the old one. If you can clear your cache or clear your history and just go to gemini.org again. If it won't happen, if you still can't do it, then email us through the Contact Us page, and we will literally take a video of it and show you exactly how to do it. Okay. My son loves Gemini. He has a genetic disorder called trisomy 8. Very rare. I've never heard of it. He is 3 years old and wasn't saying any words. He has been using Gemini for about 8 months now, and he is saying all kinds of words now. It just started happening the last 2 weeks. Very grateful for Gemini. Not sure if he understands all the words yet, but that's okay. It will come. I really don't think he would be saying anything without it. Thanks so much. You know what? He may just be echoing, but he's getting that practice, and that'll come. Exactly. That's a bright attitude to have. That will come. All right, if you have any more questions while you're watching this video later on, put them in the comments. We will come and answer them. And everybody, let's get going. Have a great weekend. It's coming up, and we'll see you next time. Bye.